All right, Nick, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. Rams off to a good start. They're looking really strong, but I think there's a secret sauce behind this team. People don't understand exactly how good this team is, and there's a couple of metrics that you can compare just to see, and the Rams are dominating both of them. We'll break it down here in just 1 second, but first, I'm Andrew. That's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, the Rams looking really, really good in all metrics, all accounts. But I think just one thing in particular, especially offensively, when you look at this team, they're doing really good. PFF ranked first offense in the first ranked offense in the NFL right now. The defense is looking good as well. They're ranked sixth. But I think the secret sauce is the offense and how they've been able to dominate two key metrics here. Let's pull up the graph. I'm going to kind of explain what everything means, and then we'll just look exactly how dominant the Rams have been at this on the other side. So first up, let's bring up this graph courtesy of True Media. I was able to put this together, kind of duplicated something I saw on X. And you see on the left-hand side, the vertical axis, you see success rate. The bottom axis here, you see the explosive play rate. And let's look at the quartiles of the graph. I'll kind of explain what everything means first. So the bottom left-hand quartile would mean that you're not a very good team. You're not good at either one of these things. The top left-hand quartile would say, okay, you're a successful team. And very briefly, let me explain what the success metric is. People are like, what does success even mean? How do you grade that? Well, success per True Media, how they grade things is the percentage of plays on first and second down, they go for 50% of the yards to gain. So if it's first and 10, getting at least 5 yards, say it's like second and 5, getting 2.5 yards, those are successful plays. Getting at least 50% of the line to gain on downs 1 and 2, and on downs 3 and 4, successful plays are plays that get first down. So being successful is consistent, getting at least like 5 yards on first down, saying it's first and 10, getting, a chunk of that on half of what you need to gain on second down, and then getting a first down on third downs or fourth downs. That is what the success metric is. Explosive play rate, that's pretty self-explanatory. Big plays, chunk plays, 10 plus yard type of deals here. So bottom left quartile, bad. Top left quartile, successful, not explosive. Bottom right quartile, explosive, but not successful. And then when you look in the top right, you're doing well in both. And as you can see, no other teams really creep in to the top right quartile like the Rams. Everyone's kind of right around the edge of the middle. Like the Ravens are over there, but they're just below, the 50% indicator as far as success rate goes. They're just under that. They're not quite in that top right quartile. The Colts are up there, but they're all the way smashed to the left. They're not very explosive. They're just really successful. The Rams are the only team that have crept up into that top right quartile and been a team that is both very successful as well as being a team that is very explosive. And I think this is something really, really important, very cool here for the Rams. Let's get into some of the data here just to show you how successful and how explosive this team has been. So first up, just look at the wide receivers. I mean, these are guys that have been crushing it so far this year. Look at, their average yards per reception here. 12.3 yards per reception on average for Puka Nacua. I think that's very explosive. Great there. Devontae Adams had 15.7 yards per reception on average. And then Jordan Whittington, low receptions, but still averaging 21 yards per catch there for this receiver group. Really, really great. But I think there's an even better metric, and that's how many big-time plays these receivers have had. And I think if you compare it to another team who I think is doing really well, we've done a video on them recently showing how well they're doing. You look at the Green Bay Packers, how many big time plays has this receiving core got? It has had 11 big time receptions through all of their receivers. Compare that to what the Green Bay Packers have done this year, only 6 big time plays through their receiving core. So this Rams offense has really been very, very explosive. A lot of big time plays done out through here. You can even see like Puka Nakua rushing the football, had a big time 45-yard run. They've had two guys get 15+ yard runs. Just overall, this offense has been very, very explosive. But let's look at how successful they have been as well. If you look here, I brought up a chart. Miami Dolphins don't really count because they're the only team in this chart who's played 3 games versus everyone else has only played 2 games so far. And if we look at the percentage of third downs made, the Rams are up there. They're right there. They've made 48% of their third downs, which is very high. Other teams, good teams in front of them, Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys, and then the Dolphins, who've had a couple more tries at the apple here. But Rams, very good at converting those third downs. But also, as you can see, they've gotten a lot of first downs as well, 40 first downs this season, which is probably in the upper 50% of this of the teams that are meeting these numbers as well. So this is just a Rams team who has come out here and done something that I think is pretty special. This is a team that is not just explosive, not just successful, but has a blend of both. That going back, let's go back to the first chart here one more time, showing no other team has really been even close to the way that the Rams have dominated, being both successful and explosive. Their team that can grind it down the field, get those first downs, get 50% of the yardage on first and second downs to make those third downs easier, but also able to get those big time explosive plays. This is a team that can do both. They can play both styles of football. I think this is really, really important in how they're going to dominate going forward. Curious what your thoughts are on this, Nick. But first, Rams fans, in the comment section below, we're talking about this offense. We're talking about, this is really impressive stuff so far. Number one rated offense in the NFL. I know it's through 2 weeks, but as I showed in these graphs, this is a team that can do it both ways. They're not just like some fluky big play team. They're not just a team that's been able to grind it out. They've done it every which way. They are shown they're a very capable team. But going back through history, a lot of great Rams offenses. Greatest show on turf is a very easy answer to go to. So let's kind of shy away from that one. If you want to be a more individualistic fan, a fan with better taste, don't pick the low hanging fruit. Don't do the easy answer. But can you remember a Rams offense through history that has looked as good as this one has to start? Let us know your favorite Rams offense through history in the comment section below. And I do want to get to you, Nick, but first, before we get to you, let's hear a word from the sponsor of today's video. We all know that football season is a busy time of year with NFL games basically Sunday, Monday, Thursday, sometimes Fridays now, and then college games every Saturday. We don't have much time anymore, especially to do the things that we need to do, like eat. So little time, in fact. Let's break it down. We love charts and graphs on this channel. We can see here most of our days filled with football during the season. Some of us have to go to work, so we gotta sleep every once in a while. But as you can see, eating, there's not much time to think about what you want to eat or even the time to go and cook it. So that's where Factor Meals has revolutionized my football season. Factor gives you the flexibility to stay active and do more of the things you love without succumbing to a quick cheat meal when short on time. It takes just 2 minutes in the microwave and you're done. And now you're fueled with a meal that supports the lifestyle you're trying to keep up with. I've been using Factor and loving it, so you should give it a try too. My favorite part about Factor is that it has taken the guesswork out of my daily routine and helped me stick to clean eating and giving me more time to do things I love. A few of my favorite meals have been the chicken and mushroom tetrazzini, the cavatappi and meatballs, and the truffle butter filet mignon, which are all delicious. So head on over to factor75.com or click the link in the description below the video and use promo code SMIFB50 to get 50% off and free breakfast for 1 year. You heard me right. Go over to factor75.com and use promo code SMIFB50 to get 50% off and free breakfast for 1 year. What are you waiting for? Go on, check it out. I know you're going to love it. All right, Nick, great word from our sponsor, but time to hear from you. What are your thoughts on everything here for the Rams?
Yeah, so from a surface level perspective, if you look at the Rams through two games, you say this is a defensive football team, right? Obviously, the Texans game was low scoring, and the Titans game, obviously, there was, a lot of more points to finish out the game, but there were some takeaways and, sort of the Rams defense, asserting themselves after kind of a close competitive game through about, three-ish quarters or so. And so from a surface level, you're like, okay, Rams defense off to a hot start. They got a really good core, really good front seven, young guy, Josiah Stewart making some plays. We know Jared Verse is good. We know Kobe Turner's good, right? Fisk, we know all these guys are good players, right? And so, Stanford didn't get a lot of playing time, coming off maybe a little injury, a little bit of a slow start, right? That's sort of the surface level. But if you actually watch the games, watch the film, bring up the analytics and the data, like you said, it tells a completely different story. And this is what happens sometimes in the NFL is you can be an efficient and explosive offense, and the points sometimes take some time. And we saw that basically through the first, I'll say, 6 quarters ish of the Rams season, right? We saw obviously not a whole lot of points against Houston in week one, and a decent amount in the first half against the Tennessee Titans, but not like a groundbreaking number. And then we just saw the tidal wave emerge and we saw things click. And that just happens in the NFL sometimes. When you have a process and you have talent, eventually everything has to get aligned. It becomes like a well-oiled machine, and then it takes off and explodes. And that's what we're seeing from the Los Angeles Rams. You and I, Miles, we talked about it all offseason. We were one of the few people that were, by the way. A lot of people, when they were talking about the contenders in the NFC, people were saying Philly easily. They're easily the best. And then Detroit's number two, and maybe don't sleep on San Francisco, right? That was sort of the prevailing narrative across the National Football League pretty clearly. In fact, the people were looking for an NFC West team. It either was the San Francisco 49ers, or a lot of people were saying, the Arizona Cardinals, they look really good, right? That was a narrative that was going on in the media. We were saying people need to not sleep on this Rams team. They were this close to beating the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly in the postseason. I mean, they were driving for the winning score before the final stop that Philadelphia was able to make. They got a lot of great talent. They've got a lot of young guys getting better and better. Really good additions through the offseason. I mean, this is a really good squad right now for the Los Angeles Rams on both sides of the football. And now we're seeing the offense totally click. They're off to a good start. Defense is phenomenal. Sean McVay, really good coaching staff. I mean, in my opinion, this is the best football team in the NFC, right? Everyone looks at I know people sit there and say, well, it's the Green Bay Packers. I get it. The Packers, they've got the new toy in Parsons, and they're playing great football. Jordan Love is playing out of this world. I think they're one of the top three teams for sure. But I want to see what happens with the Packers as teams get more film on that defense, right? Because right now, everyone's just scrambling to figure out how to adjust to Green Bay's defense because there's no film on them, right? That happens, right? It's like when a rookie comes in and dominates week one, there's no film, right? It takes a few weeks, takes a few months. People get film, people figure it out. I want to see what the Packers look like defensively the second half of the season. Jordan Love's playing outstanding. He's doing a great job for them. The Eagles, look, they're the Eagles. They're not very physically impressive at times. 2 close wins. Hey, good job. One at home against Dallas, one on the road against Kansas City. That's good. But I mean, they're not impressing me. I don't look at the Eagles and say, wow, they're striking the fear into the National Football League. But the Rams right now, they are the best team in the NFC, right? They are complete. They've got an elite defense. They've got an elite offense. They got playmakers, a veteran quarterback with elite arm talent, great coach. They check every single box. They have no flaw. Every single player on this team, every single element, there's nothing new about it, right? The Houston Texans, the Tennessee Titans, their first two opponents, had the entire offseason, right? When it came time to the offseason and the game plan prep during the week, they had all the film they needed. Everyone knows what McVay is going to do, right? There's no secret there. Everyone knows what Matt Stafford can do. Everyone knows what this defense has. There's no secrets at all, right? If you talk about a team that could get off to a slow start, you would say, yeah, maybe it's the Rams because Stafford is a little banged up, take a little bit of time to get going. And everyone knows exactly what the Rams are going to do schematically. They don't hide it at all. And they still go out there and dominate both sides of the football. I think they dominate week 3. I think this game against Philadelphia, it ain't going to be close. I think the Rams win big. That's my honest feeling right now, just because I think the Rams are so darn efficient, paired with being so darn explosive. And it's not just offensively. We see it defensively too. They're good snap to snap, and then they create those big plays, those big takeaways. That's what's so good about the Rams is that both offensively and defensively, they're methodical, right? They'll do good on first down. They'll do good on second down. Successful plays, both sides of the football. And then they also have the ability to break your back with a big play, whether it's Nakua or whether it's a sack fumble on defense, right? They can get the special teams involved too. They're so versatile. They're so deep. They can come at you a bunch of different ways, and they're also well disciplined and really good at executing. Those two elements are a powerful combination. The Eagles kind of had that last season, but I think the Rams have taken it to a whole nother level. They're, in my opinion, through 2 games, and I think they're going to send a powerful message on Sunday. I think they're the best team in the NFC. I think they're right now. If you told me who's going to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, I think it's the Los Angeles Rams. I think they check every box. People are sleeping on them a little bit because I know Green Bay is the shiny new toy and Philly's the reigning champs. I get all that. I understand, right? I'm not trying to degrade the media there for making what I think is a mistake. But this Rams squad, and those two teams are great, right? By the way, those teams are very good teams. Nothing against those teams. But this Rams squad right now, like the data you showed offensively supports, they are playing at a whole nother level. And I expect to see no reason why that would degrade. They're in a strong position to, I think, win the whole darn thing in 2025.
Yannick, and I know you think this, but just going off what you're saying here, is this is a team that's not just performing well for the NFC. If we look at what this team is doing, just overall as a performer in all of the NFL, let's look at PFF grades. Overall grade, this is offensively and defensively. Number two team in the NFL right now, only
Yeah.
behind the Green Bay Packers, who've had a monumental run right now. But the Rams, really great stuff. 85.6, number two team in the NFL right now. If we look at offensively, the number one team in the NFL right now. This is the number one offense in the NFL, large part due to the number one passing grade in the NFL. Matthew Stafford is playing really good football right now. This team is looking very, very good. And I think just overall, it is looking great. Great news for the Rams. We look defensively, this team, number six in the NFL defensively. Really great stuff. They're able to do a lot of, hard-nosed defense up front. We know that. We've gone through all of their great additions, all of the great draft picks they've able to add to this defense. This defense is just very, very sharp. I would not want to go up against this Rams front seven. It is somewhat of a nightmare to look at if you're being completely honest. And a lot of that is just this is a team that defensively, they're just good all over. They're not necessarily very highly ranked in any one category, but they're top of the charts in every single category. So just overall, really strong performance by the Ram, doing a lot of really good stuff. And I think, like you said, people slept on the Rams. They're still sleeping on the Rams. I don't think they're getting the credit they deserve. If you look at the data, you look at how they've been playing, you look at, film breakdowns of this Rams team, this is the team to beat. This is the best team in the NFL, second best team in the NFL, depending on what metrics you are. But the Green Bay Packers, they really had a big jump this year. I think they're playing really good football. It's like you said, there's not enough tape on there. I think there's a chance for this team to have a slight dip in performance. I'm not going to say they're going to go down and be bad by any means, but I think the level they're playing at right now, there's some holes that you could poke in the argument that, hey, this team is going to be able to consistently keep this up. The Rams, they've been doing this for a while now. They've been a very solid team. There's no new shiny toy. There's no, something that you can poke holes in the Rams game. They're just getting better and better and better overall around the ball, and that's why they've gotten such great marks. I'm putting my money, like you said, on the Rams. This is a team that I think is going to make a big-time run this year, and if I'm a betting man, I put my money on the Los Angeles